Good day and welcome to another video in our series 0 to Hero in Python programming. So in the last video, if you watched the last video, I actually told you to install Anaconda or PyCharm. So I'm using Anaconda here. So to open Anaconda on your system, just click on your Windows button and write Anaconda. So it will open Anaconda. Just click on it or press enter. It will bring you to a Windows like this. Then click launch. When you launch Anaconda, it will bring you to a Windows like this, where you can navigate to wherever you want to prepare your document. So I'm navigating to documents now, and I'll come to this point here. I'll click new, then click on Python 3. This will create a new notebook for me, which I can rename by clicking on this untitled and call it whichever name I want to call it. So I'm calling this class 1. Click on rename, then I can easily just write whichever code I want to write. So for example, I want to test now. I can say 2 plus 2. So then press shift enter to run your code, which will give me 4. So I've actually prepared a notebook here, which I'll be using for this class just to guide me on what to say and what not to say. So basically you can take time to read this part of the, we just pause the video and read this part. So fun fact number 1, I know most of you will expect Python was named after a snake or something, but that's actually wrong. Python was named after the Monte Carlo Python Flying Circus TV show. So it's not named after a snake or anything. So it's now a cliche that whenever we start a new programming language, they say print hello world, but let me just follow the trend. So print hello world, which prints hello world for us. So the title of what we are doing today is calculating with Python. So basically the basic arithmetic that we do with Python is what we are treating today. So basically in most programming language, actually star is what they use as multiplication. So it's not the x that we use in mathematics. So we just write, for example, here I'm writing 8 star 3.57. So if I press shift enter now to run it and give me 28.56, or 10 times 365, which will give me 3,650, or 2 plus 3,650, which will give me 3,670. Or so this is the addition sign. The normal plus that we use in mathematics is the addition sign. So 3 times 552 will give me 156. Then the subtraction sign is the same subtraction sign we use, which we give, so we can run this, which will give us this. Then there's still the division sign too. So let me just add a cell underneath here. No, sorry, insert a cell below. So I can just do 3650 divided by, let's say, 5. So that one will just give me 730. So that's that. So the order of operation, actually in mathematics, there's this part of mathematics when I was in primary school that they call board mass. It also applies in Python. For example, if you see this code here, if you see the code here and this next line to it, they look the same, but they won't generate the same answer. And the reason is basically because of what we in Nigeria, when we're in school, they gave us an acronym called board mass, which is bracket of division, multiplication, addition, and subtraction. So basically, addition and subtraction comes before, multiplication and division comes before addition and subtraction. The only way you can make addition or subtraction come before multiplication and division is by adding a bracket. So that's what we did here. So we actually wanted to add 5 plus 30 before we multiply by 20. But here what he did was multiplied 30 by 20, then added 5. So that's why we are getting different answers. So if you check here now, so this line and the next line after it will generate different answers, because it will first do the what? It first do the division, then do the multiplication. So after doing this, which gives us 2, it will then multiply with 30, which gives us 60, then add 5, which gives us 65. So that's how it generated this answer here. But this is actually what we want. We want 5 plus 30, then multiplied by 20, then divided by 10. So which will give us 7. So that's that about that. So fun fact number 2 for this video: multiplication and division always go before addition and subtraction unless parentheses are used to control the order of operation. So what we call parentheses is just this bracket, the opening and closing of bracket. That's what we call parentheses. So variables are like labels. So how do we make variables in Python? So basically, the word variable in programming describes a place to store information such as number, text, list of numbers and text, and so on. Another way of looking at variable is that it's like label label for something. So when you are labeling something, for example, this 100 here, we labeled it Fred. For example, when I was born, it wasn't like in the hospital there was a stamp on my stomach that says my name is Abbas Olaya, but my parents labeled me Abbas Olaya. So here in Python too, we label our variable. For example, where if we run this code now, Fred equals 100. Whenever we call Fred, it automatically gives us 100. So for example, my age will always increase per year, for example. So that's my age. So here now, Fred, let's say Fred's age is 100. So whenever we call Fred, we have 100. So here now, we are now saying probably the next year, each year we go by 100. Tell by next year, Fred is now 200. So we now label Fred as 200. Then when we call Fred, it will give us 200. If we call Fred now, it can't give us 100 again because we've overwritten the first 100 that we cited as Fred. But here we now said Fred equals 200, John equals Fred. Then what is John? So we said Fred equals 200. John equals Fred, meaning John equals Fred equals 200, which means what? John is equal to 200. So another thing we should note in Python is case sensitive. So if you write John and you write capital John, for example, if I add a new cell above now, let me just add a new cell. So if I add a new cell above now, so basically that's, let's say John. If I call John here, to give me 200. But if I add another cell again, and I call capital J-O-H-N, to humans, this is still the same thing. But in here, it is giving me error that it does not know what John means. Meaning, because of the case sensitivity of Python. So John and John are not the same. Just take note of that. And in making variables in Python, there are actually basic rules that we follow. So basically, you can't start with a number or a sign X apart from the underscore. So you can't start with a number. You can't start a variable with a number. Sorry, number or a sign You can't put space. You can't put space in between a variable. What I mean by variable is just the label, like that is the name. Let me just call it that. Then another rule is, okay, you can actually add a number in between, but you can't add the sign in between. So you can add probably to John 2, John 1, or John 1, 2. Or you can just add, you can put underscore in between them and the like that. As we go on, I'll be giving you the guide to follow when it comes to labeling variables. So here, there are two ways of labeling variables actually. There's what we call camel casing and there's what we call snake casing. Probably you want to call a variable the combination of two names. For example, let's say my name is Abbas Olaya now. I want to apply it to a variable. Now let's say my age is 28. So Abbas, or I can't put space in between them because to give me, for example, I say Abbas Olaya equals 28. This will give me error because there's a space in between it. So this is an invalid syntax. But I can use two ways of doing this. I can do underscore Abbas Olaya. So it's now readable to you that this is actually Abbas then Olaya, which will always generate 28 for me. So if I add a new cell above, if I call Abbas Olaya now, I will actually add below. Let me come back here and add below. So if I add a cell below now, if I call Abbas Olaya, so let's say Abbas Olaya, if I run this to give me 28. So if I actually now come here and call, let's say, and this is what we call snake casing. I use underscore in between the words. But there's what we call camel casing again. I can say Abbas Olaya. This camel casing, because you can see in between there is a capital letter. I use a capital letter to differentiate the two words. So this is what we call camel casing. This is what we call snail casing. When we join two words together with an underscore, that's snail casing. When we join two words together and begin the next word with a capital letter, that's what we call camel casing. So 28. So this one too will work. So fun fact number 3 for this video: the most common anxiety I hear about learning programming is that people think it requires a lot of math. Actually, most programming does not require math beyond basic arithmetic that we've done here. In fact, being a good programmer isn't that different from being good at solving Sudoku puzzles. Yeah, if you can solve Sudoku puzzles, you don't necessarily need to be a mathematician to solve Sudoku puzzles. So if you can solve that, you can be a very good programmer. Programming is a creative task, somewhat like constructing a castle out of Lego bricks, like all those bricks that we build together to form castles and the like. So that's that. Then the other things I want to touch on arithmetics here is, okay, there's the exponent sign. Let's say you want to raise a power, something to a power of something. That's exponent sign. So 8 raised to power 2 will give us what? So to raise to power of another thing will be the multiplication sign, that which is that star. So we use double star, which will give us 64 now. So that's 8 times 8, which is 64. So if I say 8 raised to power 8 raised to power 3 will give us what? Me myself, I don't know that. That's 512. So that's that on that. Then there is modulo. Modulo is actually just giving us the remainder after, when we're in primary school, there's no float. Okay, I will explain float in our next tutorial. That's a data type. So there is no decimal place. So whenever we divide two numbers by each other, let's say 8 divided by 3, for example. Now 8 divided by 3 should give us decimal place. But if we want to actually just get the remainder, that's what we call modulo in mathematics. So that's 8 modulo, that's a percentage sign, modulo 3, which will give us 2. So that the remainder here is 2. Whenever we use the modulo sign to just give us the remainder. And there's the integer division to, let's say, 8 divided by 3 now, to actually give us the answer, that is what 8 divided by 3 is without combining the remainder. Oh, sorry, this division. I said remainder. So that's supposed to be 8 double divide 3. That's how we generate integer division. So it will give us 2 instead of the 2.666 that it should give us. So that's that for this tutorial. See you in the next tutorial, and please don't forget to subscribe and like this video. Then the assignment.